Hey coaches, I just wanted to send a quick maybe 10-minute video describing some of the things that I saw this weekend that lead into this week's plans in the stated email that I sent yesterday along with the curriculum that is currently in OneDrive. What I have here is I've set up a field of play. This could liken to our current environment indoors. We could also take this outdoors. But the biggest thing that I'm seeing based on something that I think we want to do a really good job of, especially in the at all ages. But I think it's of huge development concern if we're not doing it well enough at 9 through 12, that it gets to be a big concern as we get older. These are some of the things that if our 15, 16, 17s don't currently have, it's going to be tough to get them to adequately do this. And play top level teams if we are unable to do this, and that is uh, to to complete the technical functions of passing and receiving, particularly in this case in the back half. So can we take the ball from our back half and can we get it across the half line efficiently, effectively in possession of the ball without, let's say, the thing that I saw more often than not this weekend, which is our goalkeeper just playing it over the top when they got it, or our defenders when they got it, when they obtained possession of the ball, to just play it over the other side. So this isn't something that I saw us do very well effectively, and it's something that I really want to focus on. If it's not 1 week, it's probably 2 weeks worth of work. I think we can accomplish it. We're never going to get sold on it at 9 through 12, in 2 weeks. But it's something that I think we need to harp on again and again within the context of the game. So I've set up this kind of scenario here where maybe we've won the ball, or the goalkeeper has received it, or maybe it's the start of a goal kick. We haven't got there yet, but it's the start of the goal kick, and we could start with a goalkeeper in this case. And realistically, nines and tens understand that these the 9 and 8, that the attacking two players from the opposing team probably have to back up behind this line here. Sorry, had a interruption. So these two attacking players would have to back up behind the build-out line, but sometimes that's not the case. So the first thing we want to focus on is when and how and where to move, right? So as soon as the cue for our players to move is important. So as we discuss on when, how, when, and where to move, it's important to understand what is occurring when that needs to happen, right? So goalkeeper gets the ball, shot on goal, whether it misses, whether goalkeeper gets it, either one of those things has created, or just maybe the ball comes through and the goalkeeper has it at their feet, even better, right? Or you're going to pass back to the goalkeeper. Okay, as soon as our goalkeeper gets possession of the ball, the things that we're going to want to do right away is get the two out wide, right, and then the same thing with the three, and the dash line would indicate player movement without a ball. So we look at these curved runs, and they want to be curved because at any time this goalkeeper could play us the ball, and the earlier maybe the better, and we can actually be moving into the direction. So if this one played the ball when the three got to this point, out to here, right, we are actually moving in the direction that we eventually want to go. So that's why we curve these runs. We also curve the runs so we can be open to the field of play as we receive the ball, which is really important. At this time, the 8 doesn't need to be in this space, but they can be out in this space. What this could do is stretch the opposing team. This is important because we might want to work into this space, right? So as these players go wide at 9 and 10, that's really it. We don't need much more than that. At 11 and 12, right, what we would like to do is we do this so we can get higher pressure from the opposing team. As you can see, if we can get higher pressure from the opposing team, it opens up space here, and it certainly opens up space here. We would take this from the 1 to the 8 all day. If we can get that ball there, that's great, right? And if we start to get really high pressure, we need to encourage the ball over the top, and that's fine. right? But it's going to be more of the exception rather than the rule. Okay, if they're playing this high press, sure, and we're getting opportunities by doing that, fine. But the more we do that, the more these players are probably backing up and giving us the opportunity to play out of the back. At 9 and 10, this should always be an option because of the build out line. Okay, so once we have a ball into one of these players, right? So a pass would be a straight line. Once we have a ball into one of these players, the things we're going to want to focus on from the passing, from the functions of passing are heel down, toe up, right? Inside of the foot. This isn't far enough to get a driven pass. So inside of the foot, and can we play that ball with some quality? So can it be a very hard pass, right? And can it be accurate? And and both of those things need to occur, but I would encourage us to play harder passes and get us used to that and have some bad touches on the receiving end rather than playing low quality balls but receiving it well because the ball is not played hard enough, right? I'd rather us play harder balls, work on the problem of receiving the ball, right? Giving us some context there, a lot of repetition within the game on those rather than work on playing the ball harder. Okay, so a good hard pass. And what does accurate mean in this case? Accurate in this case is, are we playing to the appropriate foot? Okay, so sometimes I saw our goalkeeper play a good idea playing into 2 or 3, and we might say good idea. That's something I heard of a lot of was, hey, that was a good idea, but we didn't give any context to that good idea. So if this one plays the ball to 2, but plays his left foot here, or the one plays the ball to the 3 but plays his right foot or her right foot, that's a good idea, but it's not technically uh, done correctly. It's not. Maybe it was a bad decision. Maybe it wasn't a decision he thought of or she thought of on purpose to play that foot, right? So we need to correct those things in order to continually get better at this thing. So I saw sometimes where we played to those outside players, we said, hey, that's a really good idea. Good job. It was a good idea, right? But can we play their right foot moving into space if it's this number 2? Or can we play their left foot moving into the forward space if it's this number 3? Okay. Once we've played this ball, though, the goalkeeper's job is not done, and we need to understand that. So I understand we have some limitations at the goalkeeper position, and we're working to accomplish some of that training here come spring summer. So I think we will find some positive solutions as we get to spring summer. Right now, we're a little inadequate there, and I understand that from my position that we need to improve on goalkeeper. But one thing we can do as a goalkeeper is we can be a last defender with our feet, and we can be a first attacker with our feet. Okay, so once this ball is played to the 2 or 3, can the 1 be a positive support? Because what's going to happen is this player is going to come down here, right? This player is going to come down here or down here. And if they come down here, we might have another player that comes in here. Well, now all of our options are pretty much removed. Okay, the 1 is going to need to be the option. Right? We need to have that supporting option. Many times I saw the 3 turn into space only to find pressure but no relief, or they're not looking for relief because it's not really forced on us. It's not really, hey, use the 1 as an option, or the 1's not like, hey, use me, I'm here, right? And again, the same thing goes here. If we're looking at receiving, functions of receiving, passing, receiving, are we doing this accurately? Okay, so if the 2's playing back to the 1, can we play them on the left foot outside of the goal? So if for some reason that goalkeeper misses it, it doesn't go in the goal, it goes out for a corner kick. Right? 3, can we play them on the right foot? Again, all the pressure, let's say we play that ball to the 3 and all the pressure's on this side of the field. We need to be able to play them on that right foot so their body's open to the field so they can play the opposite field. It's very important that we're able to do that. Okay? All of our players should be able to play goalkeeper because we're using them as a field player so much in this indoor space. It's really, really good for us. Okay. Now, another thing I heard is if we are successful getting it out wide, okay, let's say we are successful making this pass, and the 2 now has moved into this space, right? And they now have the ball that they have received. I'm going to move this arrow so I can get the 1 and the 2 out here, right? They've received the ball into this space, okay, and now we have 8 pressuring. I heard from multiple coaches, you know, down the line. I heard don't play it central. I heard a lot of these things that would I don't think equip our players well for long-term development, right? What we would rather encourage, rather than just hoofing it down the line, rather than dribbling into this pressure, okay? If they have space, yes, we want our players to dribble even out of the back, okay? All over the field. If they have space, dribble. Shoot, include the goalkeeper in that. Okay, if a ball comes through, goalkeeper has it at their feet, right? 3s come here, 2s come here, and 1 starts to dribble in this direction. Guess what? 8 comes here. Now 1 passes. It opens up the space for 2 to get into. Okay, we need to dribble to create pressure, because dribbling to create pressure brings other opportunities for our teammates. Okay. While we're dribbling to create pressure, everybody else needs to find space. So a good keyword is, can we find space, right? If we don't have the ball, where is space? Can we find space? If we have the ball, how do we create space, right? So let's say 8's gone there, and we haven't done this yet. We have some options to work into this space here, central. We have the option to work back here, central, right? 3 is no longer going to be out wide, or shouldn't be. That's something we can certainly coach, although we want width. We don't need it. If the ball's way out here, we can come into, let's say, this space here, and we could receive that pass. But why receive a square ball that is super dangerous when we can play forward at a diagonal or back at a diagonal? Square balls are usually pretty dangerous. If they get picked off, neither player can defend, right? So if this ball goes from this player to this player, okay, but 8 picks it off, or another player in here, this player and this player are out of defending. They cannot defend that ball. Whereas if the ball comes back here, right, and this player picks it off, 1 is still here to defend, okay? And if the ball goes here and gets defended, right, by 8, right, then 2 and 1 are both behind the ball to do that. So that's why square balls take 2 people out of the defensive responsibility if that ball gets stolen somehow. Weak ball, a bad ball, a good read by the defender, okay? So those are some things that I want to note from playing out of the back. In the future, what I'd like to do on a weekly basis is do a Zoom, keep this as a Zoom call, just a 30-minute Zoom call to where I can go over some of these things, and then we can ask questions if there's any questions. Couple things that I saw over the weekend though were the technical functions of passing and receiving, open our body receiving with that back foot. Okay, we need to do it though. We need to learn within the context. So we need some pressure on us from certain areas. We need the ability to play back. We need the ability to go forward in a 2v1. So like this is a really good opportunity to dribble at this player. The dribble or the snake line is dribbling with the ball. Dribble at this player, get him to commit or her, pass around to 8, and then do a give and go, right? So we need the opportunity to go at 2v1s. Okay. This is really what I wanted to focus on today. So I'm going to post this. We'll see where it ends up. Let me